Who do you want? Because this is Jake's first TV show.
Yeah.
Who do you want who hasn't done TV to be in Presumed Innocent season 2?
I mean, there's a lot of meat left on that bone, right? We've had a lot of people, especially with the money that Apple throws around. It used to be like it was kind of slumming it or you're moving it to a different point in your career. And I don't think that's the case anymore. I think you can now do prestige TV and then just bounce back immediately into movies.
But like, I wonder why.
So it's somebody in that, like, but you're right. It's like somebody in that Jake. It's like an Anne Hathaway. It's somebody in that Jake age range who's kind of had their run. But
she did our favorite We Crashed for Apple already.
That's a good point.
Well, so she's in the family, you know?
I think that was my favorite Apple drama before this one.
What about
the We Crashed one?
What about keeping it in the Rustyverse? What about Brad Pitt?
I mean, sure. You think we'd mind that?
He hasn't done TV ever?
No. I mean, I just Googled it.
Is he inscrutable enough to be one of these shifty characters?
He appeared in 4 episodes of Dallas between 1987 and 1988. I don't think that counts.
Looking forward to the Hall of Fame episode on those coming to the Prestige feed soon.
21 Jump Street, but I don't think he's done TV since he's been Brad Pitt, you know?
But I would go the other way. Like, I think you're looking at it wrong. I think everybody's on the table. What actors and actresses would never do TV? And it's basically like Leo.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone else is on the table. To me, Leo is the only one who'd be like, no way, never doing TV. Is there anybody else who would just like blindly say no way?
I mean,
everyone else is listening to the offer at least.
I think Brad is in that like Leo bubble. Like he could be. They both have their
Brad
Oscars.
Needs money.
Brad does need money.
Brad's estranged from his 8-person family.
It's true.
I think Denzel's probably a no.
Yeah. And I wonder some of the younger generation stars who are just coming off of TV and may not want to double back. Like the whole Euphoria cast, for example. Like, are you convincing Jacob Elordi to come back and do TV or Zendaya? Like, that's not happening right now.
And like Chalamet's probably a no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say everybody from 35 to 55 is at least taking a couple calls and having their agents and things like that. Okay. Can we talk about Gyllenhaal? Because you guys have kind of tap danced around it.
Let's do it.
I watched Prisoners with my wife and daughter over the weekend because my daughter wanted a kidnap movie. And
normal family activity.
By the way, super weird request. I'm not gonna deny it.
Tough sit. Okay.
But she was like, "How many good kidnapping movies are?" And there really isn't. Like, it's kind of shocking how few actual good kidnap movies are. But anyway, we watched Prisoners, and Jake is phenomenal in that movie. He's really good. And something shifted with him in the last 5 years where I don't feel like he's as good of an actor as he used to be. It's like this will happen in like basketball where we're like, why is that guy an All-NBA guy anymore? And we can't figure it out. I didn't think he was very good this season in Presumed Innocent until this 7th episode. And I actually thought he was really good in this episode. I really felt like he was struggling to figure out this character, the motivations. Though I thought his relationship with his wife was really choppy, and I didn't understand why they were together. And I didn't feel like they had chemistry connection at all. Like Harrison Ford and Bonnie Bedelia in the movie were like, really had it. Like the scenes they had, you really could feel whatever was going on. I just don't feel it with those two.
It's interesting. I kind of agree with that in terms of the home stuff for him. I do feel like I understand his work relationships. I feel like the flashbacks have been really effective with the affair. And we talked to Greg a little bit about this, but I'm curious to get your take on this, Bill, of like, it felt so 90s thriller to me. Like just the sheer amount of like nudity and eroticism and all that sort of stuff like that. We don't get that in our storytelling very much.
But not
anymore.
Erotic. It's like these very carefully choreographed sex scenes that, like the Presumed Innocent sex scene, you feel like they're kind of going at it.
Yeah.
And this was like the very 2024. We have to have this in here. I don't know. I just felt like it felt maybe I just don't know where we are with sex scenes in the mid 2020s.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, I think between this,
Rob seems like he was into it.
Well, I think between this and
I just think this one was a little chokier than what you might find on television.
That's true. That is true.
I think this and Normal People have been like way more than we usually get in the 2020s. I think that's interesting. For your point about like, you think Jake doesn't have it as much anymore. What do you feel like his last great thing was then.
Well, the ambulance erasure that's happening right now is unacceptable.
I didn't think he was that good in Ambulance. So there you go. Yeah. And that's a movie that's made for Bill Simmons. I'm literally the audience for that movie. I thought he was really weird in Roadhouse. I thought it was a strange performance.
Weird movie.
I kind of like this whole like weird little freak era of Jake's acting career. I kind of like that he's like, I'm just going to be as weird as possible.
So what was his last good one for you? Are you looking at the IMDb?
I'm looking. I mean,
because I thought in the mid-2000s he had an unbelievable run.
I'm a huge Nightcrawler fan, but I'm just confronting how long ago that was.
What about End of Days? I thought he was great in that. Do you like that one, Rob? Was that what it's called? The cop movie?
End of Watch.
End of Watch.
End of Watch.
Yeah.
End of Watch is legit.
He's really good in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think he's in a weird spot. I thought Roadhouse was super strange.
Roadhouse is super strange, but I don't know that that's his fault. You know what I mean? I think
for sure. I am an enemy head. I do love Nocturnal Animals, or love might be the wrong word, but it's an extremely memorable movie and he's quite good in it. But he has been in that weird zone for a long time now, and the hits are further between than you might expect.
Yeah, and sometimes that happens where your like peak run is 8 to 10 years. But I was texting with a friend of mine about it because I have a friend who's obsessed with like what happened to Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought this guy was going to win Oscars. Like where did we go wrong?
I am forever irate that he didn't win for Nightcrawler. I really thought that was like that was it for him. I thought he was incredible in that. I think it's so interesting because I think Jake for a while got pinned into like handsome leading man territory when he in fact is a character actor. Again, this is like very much the Brad Pitt model of like, I think him being as weird and erratic as possible is his best mode. And when he was like earlier in the aughts trying to be like, you know, past Bubble Boy, but like into, I don't know, like Love and Other Drugs or whatever it is, like that era of Jake is not for me. But I think
he does bring credibility to a show like this where you're like, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. And
I
think that's important.